Hello folks, and welcome to something very different for today's vlog. In fact, this is a video I have been working on for months, probably in excess of 6 months. I'm really excited to be able to share it with you today. It's the story of probably the most significant week in the history of our family. Those of you who've been around on the vlog since the very beginning, since this time last year, will know that we had a particularly important week. Actually, a year ago this week, February half term. That's why I felt that this was probably the right time to get the video finished off, get it released so that you can have a look at it. And it's the story of us getting Andy back to school. At the start of these clips that I've put together for you, he hadn't been to school for 14 months. He'd just completely refused, to the point where Anna had had to give up university to stay at home and look after him, and was basically trapped in our living room with him all day, every day. But we had a little glimmer of hope, because my half term as a teacher, for the first time ever, didn't line up with his half term as a student. So I had a week off when he was supposed to be at school. So we got to trial something we've been talking about for a few weeks, which was me being at home and driving him into school and making it so that he couldn't just avoid the taxi and then avoid school. I don't want to go into too much explanation of it before, and I think the video will probably speak for itself. A couple of disclaimers initially. Firstly, remember this was a year ago. At this point, I'd only been vlogging about 6 weeks. It's a bit ropey in places. I didn't have this camera that I'm talking to you on now. I only had the little camera, and I don't think I even had the little furry thing on top, so the sound quality gets a bit bad, the visual quality is a bit poor in places, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the story that it's telling is very important, and it explains a lot about how we reached the situation that we're in now, which is one of our most common questions. For those of you who were here at the time, consider it a little bit of an example of how far Andy's come in the last year. And for those of you who weren't part of that maybe 1,000 subscribers that we had when this sequence of videos first came out, which by the way you can watch up there, is a link to the full 8 video playlist, but this is it very much in condensed format, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Tomorrow is the official start of my half term and the official end of his half term. Has he been to school at all in 2017 yet?
No.
He's going to be tomorrow. Quick reminder of the plan for today. He's got the dentist in Grantham at 10 o'clock. It's currently, what is it, quarter past 8. We're going to need to leave home about 9 o'clock. He's got the dentist, then we'll do all the normal Grantham stuff. So we'll go to the church, we'll go to Asda. We're probably going to be leaving Grantham 11, half 11ish. His school is then half an hour away from Grantham on the way home. It is on the way home, so we don't have to have him kicking off all the way home. We haven't told him this is what we're doing. So if we tell him we're going to school as well, he won't even go to the dentist or to Grantham. So yes, it's not ideal to surprise an autistic child, but we're just trying to shock him into a day back at school today. So we're going to drive where we normally drive past his school on the way home. We're just going to pull into the car park. The school know we're coming. We all agree this is the last thing we can try. No one has any other ideas. So fingers crossed we can get him out of the car and into school, and it might just be the shock to the system and the break in the routine that he needs to just go back voluntarily tomorrow. That is the best case scenario. That went better than I possibly could have expected. He's in school, we're not there. We have had to agree that we're gonna go and pick him up again. He usually gets well, the official plan is he gets a taxi to and from school. He didn't want to get out of the car. We offered him us picking him up and he just leapt straight out, because it meant he didn't have to do the taxi. So we're now thinking, maybe it's not school he doesn't like. Maybe he just really doesn't like the taxi. If it is the taxi, then I guess that does confirm that I need to be available to drive him to and from school. Well, he came out relatively easily. He's saying he's not going to go there tomorrow. We're here at the church as a reward for the way home. Fingers crossed that we'll be alright for tomorrow. He's agreed that he wants his breakfast, which is something he always used to refuse, or has always refused when it's about going to school. He'd always refused to come downstairs, he'd stay up there. and hide and wouldn't come down. So he's downstairs, he's on his iPad, he's about to have waffles for breakfast. And he's also agreed, because I said, which church do you want to go to? He's agreed which church he wants to go to, and he's agreed he's going there after his waffles. So fingers crossed, we're going to get him in reasonably early and get him his first full day at school in what will be nearly 14 months. Well, part one of the plan is working. They're over there. It's just gone 8:30 in the morning. So he's going to be in the car again in a minute, assuming he comes back and we don't have a problem here. We'll have him back in the car. He'll kick off in the car when he realises where we're going, but that'll then be 2 days in a row. And then we're just playing a battle of, can we make it a new habit and a new routine quicker than he can find a way to get out of falling for this trick. Well, he's in. It's 9:15. I had to basically carry him out of the car. He kicked off the moment, I mean, as soon as he saw what direction the car was heading in, he wasn't at all happy about it. He took his seatbelt off, dropped down to the little seating well, went for the handbrake at one point, eventually calmed down and just sort of buried himself in the back. I realised it's not a safe way to drive, but what would you do? He wouldn't get out of the car, we had to drag him out of the car. We've left him there, basically still in the car park next to the gate with the head and a teaching assistant behind they're behind a locked gate. He can't get out, but he is refusing to go into the building. A decent-ish day. He's not really done any schooly stuff, but he's been there all day. Yeah, he's done non-specific activities, which is good, and he's not absolutely freaking out at the prospect of going back tomorrow. He keeps correcting us when we say school tomorrow, but I'm once again cautiously optimistic, and here we are for his reward. It seems after 2 days of getting away with it, he's wise to our plan. It's 7:30. He's wandering around the house, constantly saying no school, no car, no church. We offered him his breakfast and he just ran upstairs the way he always used to. He's figured out what's going on and making it very clear he doesn't want to cooperate. So I guess we go back to what the original plan for this week was, which is we get to when we would leave, and at that point, if he refuses to cooperate, we take his iPad, his DS, his PlayStation, all his stuff basically, and just leave him with nothing to do all day. Anytime he tries to do anything, we tell him it's time for school and he has to do that first. And as and when he decides he wants to go out, whether it's to a church or a lift or wherever he wants to go, we'll take him to those places, but then straight to school. Right, it's time to go to school. No. It's Wednesday, it's a school day. It's 10 o'clock. He's still here. We're all still here. He's had all his stuff taken off him. He's not very happy, but we don't seem any closer to getting him to school. What time is it?
It's Wednesday.
It's nearly 11 o'clock, isn't it?
Look, it's 11 o'clock.
So where are we going? McDonald's first. It is 11:15, but we are childless again. We managed to get him into school. Another dirty trick. We made a deal with him that we'd take him to McDonald's, go and see 2 churches and give him his DS back in the car. No mention of school. We have been talking about school all morning, but this specific journey there was no mention of school. So we brought him out, we took him to McDonald's. The McDonald's is 2 minutes away from his school, so we got most of the way here with him nice and calm, thinking he was going to McDonald's, then the church, and we just turned right rather than left out of McDonald's. He stayed quite calm, didn't he? I'm quite happy if we can establish a routine where he goes to school, then we go to the church. Happy with that. I'm even happy if it's McDonald's in school, then church every day. It costs 89p to get him a plain bread roll, which is all he eats from there. We might slowly be stumbling into a workable routine that does predictably involve McDonald's and a church. We're going to his child in need meeting this afternoon. That's why it's so important that he's gone to school today, because we were a little bit worried I was going to have to go on my own. But now we both get to go to this child in need meeting this afternoon. I'll talk them through the plans we've got from September and see if there's anything that can be done in the meantime, because once this week is done, I'm back at work, so we need to come up with a plan to get us through to the end of the year. But this is certainly starting to feel like a workable plan for next year if we don't get something sorted in the meantime. Agreed?
Yeah.
Oh. It's on tape! She agreed I can leave work! Job done! That was on tape! resignation letter on Monday. So yeah, the meeting. They've pretty much said it doesn't matter if we're getting in for the rest of the week or not. We've proved our point. They're going to work on something that we can do long term. So that's a massive positive to have come out of this. Yeah, the general gist of it was that we've done rather well getting him in this week. Yeah, we have. But it doesn't actually help solve the long-term problem, because obviously I'm not going to be there to take him in next week. He's still refusing to use the school transport. So next week we're back to square zero again. But they've seen that it is possible to get him in. So we've hit them with a bit of a double whammy. We told them that, well, we've shown them that this week, but also I dropped the bombshell that I was looking at giving up teaching to be able to do that long term, which, because they're all social workery type people, panicked them massively because of all the financial problems. I didn't need to give them the ins and outs. Luckily they don't watch the vlog. They're now working to a time scale where finally they're going to try and find a magic extra piece of funding for him that hasn't existed for the last 14 months, to hire someone full-time to be his TA, who can then come get to know him at home, spend a couple of weeks earning his trust, and then eventually be the person who takes him to and from school. That sounds amazing if they can pull that off. It's what I've been asking for a year. They actually managed to make it work. That does potentially change things, because that's everything we need. So one of the big things that came out of the meeting yesterday was that the mental health nurse was keen that we didn't stress him out unnecessarily, in light of the fact that he's not going to be going in next week. I'm back at work next week, so yes, driving him into school has worked this week to a point. I mean, it's 10:30 now and he's refusing still, but then he was refusing at this time yesterday, so it's not outside the realms of possibility that he'll still agree today. But she did raise the question, what's the point if he does? He's hiding upstairs again. It's 8:30. This is the time we would be leaving if we were going to get to school on time. He's hiding in his room, refusing to cooperate. He does, however, want Cocoa Pops, which is unusual and a bit new. He's had them every now and again, but if he wants Cocoa Pops, obviously we're going to have to go to Tesco and buy him some Cocoa Pops. Isn't that right?
Yes.
He's there. It is, what is it? Oh, it's 20 to 10. That took a lot longer than I thought it did, considering we
pulled up at 1:15.
Yeah. Drive here was horrific. Full on naked in the car, kicking me in the back of the head, kicking me in the arm.
Swerved.
Yeah, it was the closest he's ever come to causing an accident in the car. But in the end, we got him there. He's now there again for his second full day of the week. Well, school have just confirmed another good day. He enjoyed himself. At one point said he was really happy. Settled down in no time this morning. It's a real shame that I can't have another week at this straight away. I reckon one more week we'll get him actually wanting to be here again, because he's slowly, she said as the week's gone on, he's slowly getting to the point where he's enjoying being there again. So at the moment he's saying he'll go back on Monday, but we all saw on Wednesday where he said he'd go back yesterday and then he didn't. So unfortunately I think he'll probably forget that he's enjoyed it. It's a shame they can't be filming him all day in there so I can show him the video of him saying things like he was really happy, really enjoyed it. Just have to see. 8 weeks until we can do this again, or 7 weeks, I think, the Easter holidays when I'm off. How's this for an example of some last minute decision making for you? This job thing. Ooh, jobs, eh? Being a teacher, there are only 3 times throughout the year that you can resign, and 3 points that you can leave. You can leave at the end of each of the main terms, so you can leave at Christmas, you can leave at Easter, or you can leave at summer, ready for the next September. And there's set resignation dates where you can hand in your notice to be able to leave at certain times. So for me to leave at Easter, I have to resign by the end of February. Now I haven't really considered leaving at Easter until I've been sat, not really doing very much today, mulling it over, getting ready to go back to work. Typical bout of schoolitis, having to wash my shirts, getting all depressed about it. And I was thinking there are major advantages to leaving now. but then it's terrifying. And it's the first time the fear of what we're considering doing really hit me. So I need to write up a resignation letter and see if I've actually got the stones to go in and hand it in, because that bit does scare me more than I would like to let on. And that was that. I went into work the next day, I handed in my resignation, I panicked because I realised I had absolutely no idea how we were going to be paying the bills from September onwards. I just knew it was something that we had to do for our family. You've seen in the last 12-15 minutes or so just how bad things got, and it was a decision we just had to make at the time. And thankfully, through at this point a year of absolute non-stop hard work building up the channels to where they are now, it's all turned out for the best. We've got Andy back at school. He goes every day. He's been going every day since September. Anna's gone back to uni. I'm doing a job that I love, having eventually figured out a way to make sure it could pay the bills as well. And at the moment, our life couldn't be more different from where it was a year ago on those video clips that you've just watched. Hopefully this time next year I'll be making another video looking back and saying, and look how much better things are now. Well, let's be honest, I don't know how they could get much better than they are now, but what a difference a year makes. Thank you for those of you who've been along on the ride to support us every step of the way. We genuinely couldn't have done it without you. One of the clips that I ended up not including was me saying Friday, Saturday of that week, I said, I think I might resign, you know, I don't know whether to do it now or not. And we were just inundated with people saying, yeah, Kev, do it. It's what's best for your family. I don't think I'd have had the guts to do it without having all of you telling me it was the right thing to do. And I'm so glad you were there to give me that push, because things couldn't be going much better than they are. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, make sure you put a nice big thumbs up on there. It's worth a thumbs up, surely, just for the amazing progress that he's made and we've made as a family in the last year. Subscribe for more daily vlogs, normal daily vlogs. I promise you'll have a normal vlog again tomorrow. And thank you very much for watching.